Welcome to the 8th annual Real Rock Film Tour. Real Rock is presented by Gore-Tex and Windstopper products, the most challenging environments on Earth, the most demanding athletes, two amazing brands, and a steady stream of innovation lead to achievements beyond the imagination. Join us for the next chapter of the adventure. Also presented by The North Face. Pushing the limits of exploration for more than 40 years. The North Face. Never stop exploring. Real Rock is also sponsored by Petzl. Gear for the vertical world. Evolve. Transform. Perform. Goal Zero. Plug in. Power anything, anywhere. Sterling Rope. The best handling ropes on the planet. Cliff Bar. Nutrition for sustained energy. Wenger. Multifunctional, like you. Epic TV. Original, extreme, epic. And Climbing, the magazine for all climbers, in print, mobile, and online. Now get ready for Real Rock 8.
神道というものがそこに存在するものの中に命があるというのかな、例えばクライミングとかに行くとその岩自身に祀られてるんだよね。岩も生きてるんだなと。だからこれがやっぱりいつか 岩自身もこの土に帰ってまたいつかはまた溶岩になってどっかでボーンって爆発してでその溶岩が固まったりとか自身もこうどんどん変わってきて最初はこうやっぱりもっともっと難しいのも登りたいしそれがこう苦しくなってくるあまりにもこう僕ももう43歳になりました、今までにたくさんのことをしてきたんですけどもまだ大きな夢が一つあります。前回の旅で、失敗していたので、今回はまた、良いパートナーを見つけて再びボルネオに戻って、キナバルのプロジェクトに完登したいなと思ってます。
I feel very far away from home. Japan is basically chaos, but organized chaos. I've learned a few words in Japanese. Ine, which is cool. Arigato. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa, bitches. のオーディエンス相手みんな楽しいならば最高 I'm here to compete at the largest competition in Japan. The competition's run by Yuji Hirayama, who's a legend in the climbing world. The climbing scene in Japan is huge. The climbers here are total crushers. I'm pretty nervous, actually.
今年こうダニエルを招待しているでダニエルが強いことももう散々聞いてるからでも日本のクライマーが強いことも知ってるどうなるのか楽しみだったダニエルがすごい傾斜の強いところで、彼のこう力をまざまざと見せてくれるんだけどでも例えばバランスとかそうだなちょっとこうデリケートな動きを求められるときにすごいなって印象とまだまだ全然こう足に体重が乗ってなくてこれ厳しいかなって思いながら見てたけど、
それではダニエル・ウッズ選手、仮面お入りください。
決勝で彼のクライミングを見たとき、怪物が来たんだと。これから磨き上げたらどういうクライマーになっていっちゃうのか恐ろしいなっていうぐらいそこはこいつはなんかまだ磨かれてない原石だなっていうかね
Thanks to Yuji Hirayama, the legend. Growing up, I had posters of Yuji Hirayama on my wall. I was like, one day I want to be like him, the master of rock climbing. Yuji's won World Cups, he's won national championships, impressive onside ascents, traditional lines all around the world. Yuji has broken the speed record on the nose. The guy does it all, basically.
自分がクライミング始めた頃は両親とかからも反対されるし友達からも何やってんのお前っていうような例えばね日本だとみんなと違うことをしてると目立っちゃうから でも自分はやっぱそうじゃなくて、やっぱクライミングをできなくなったらとかできなかったら自分は多分こう幸せじゃないなと思ったし、
その平山さんが築き上げてきた歴史、道みたいなものに向かって自分も歩んでいってるし、
ハードなクライミングシーンはもちろん、それ以外の私にとってはクライミングの先生以上に、自分の人生だったり生き方の先生ですね。
乾杯。
See, we got some traditional Japanese breakfast. Looks like the inside of my climbing shoe. That's some potent stuff. Good morning, dude.
Good breakfast?
It's not bad.
Yeah, I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, this is good protein.
Good protein. Okay, I'll force it down.
彼の才能をコンペで見て肌で感じました。彼を外で試してみたかった。僕らは日本でも最も難しいボルダーエリアに行った。誰もリピートしてないハイドランジアという大きなルーフ。
It was loco. We had probably 20 other climbers watching. We had videographers, photographers. Conditions were super cold. I was the only one in there rock climbing. I was really nervous actually. I just started just going crazy. All I could think about was sending. Send. I was rushing things a little too much, and Yuji kind of came over and was like, hey Daniel, just wait for the right moment. You need to analyze what you're doing and just be patient. I took this pretty deeply actually, because Yuji's the sensei. He's like Mr. Miyagi.
Nice.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Nice.
Focus.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Gamba. Nice.
Come on.
Yeah. Come on. You can do it. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. ダニエルさん素晴らしいダニエルさん You catch the moment, man. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Your hand's still cold. Still cold.
Yeah. No more skin either.
ハイドランジアの後考え始めました。これはなんか一緒に木登り行ったら面白いかなとちょっと思い始めてて。
I was sitting down with Yuji and he whips out a few photos. Wow. And Yuji was like, oh, this is my project. I go here this summer. I'm kind of looking for a partner and stuff to go with.
ボルネオはマレーシアの、マレーシアにはボルネオ島なんだけど、そこに標高4000メートルの でそこにはこう花崗岩のピークがいっぱいあるんだけど、
Yuji's project is this crazy spire, completely overhanging for 100 plus meters. You're at high altitude. It's one of the most badass things I've ever seen. He had been there the previous year, got really close, and I could tell it was still fresh in his mind.
I couldn't do it, you know, but next year I want to visit again, and if you're interested,
Very cool.
It could be very nice, you know, combination. You know,
Sounds
if you come.
amazing. At the time, I had no idea where Mount Kinabalu was, but one of my icons was inviting me to go climb with him, and I immediately was in. I flew into Borneo to meet up with the rest of the team. Besides me, Yuji also invited James Pearson. He's a trad climber from England.
So my official role in this expedition is to make the other two guys look good.
And his girlfriend, Caroline.
I come because Yushi's coming, and Yushi is actually my hero in climbing. Seriously. How do you handle being the people's hero?
I don't know, you know, I always check my haircut and how I smell. Have to be good, you know.
Mount Kinabalu is the highest mountain in Malaysia and one of the highest mountains in Southeast Asia.
You go from sea level to 13,000 feet.
We arrived here and it's just unreal. A mountain plateau which is just covered in granite.
It's like being on a different planet or something. We're here for the next 3 weeks to help Yuji finish up his project and to establish some roots of our own.
The wind will not stop.
Temperature is 5 degrees and the wind, I don't know, so cold, so strong. Yeah, but this is Kinabalu, you know.
Yuji's halfway up the wall, and it's subarctic conditions, so it's pretty inspiring. The legend.
How was that, Yuji?
Very nice, very nice. That's why we come, you know.
I've never seen anything like this place. Everywhere you look, you just see crazy spires.
The first thing you notice about the rock is, my goodness, how much friction there is. It's virgin granite and it's like Velcro.
It's a climber's world, you would say.
After spending a few days here acclimatizing, we finally made it out to Yuji's project. You look up and it's pretty intimidating.
キナバルになんで来たかっていうと、それがね2003年。これ本当に登れるのかなっていうのが気持ちで、昨年やっと挑戦することができた。ちょうどこう地震があった後で、やっぱり
A great earthquake has hit Japan. The tsunami could reach between 6 and 10 meters.
More than 1,400 people are confirmed dead, with fears the toll could exceed 10,000.
クライマーとして何ができるか、一番の自分の役割としてはクライミングを通してこうみんなにできないことはないとか、やる気を出すとか、元気になってほしいとかっていろんな気持ちはあったけど、そこは一つの結局できなかった。話した通りにやっぱり自分はこうそこから目を離したくないっていうか、自分の思い。I had so much dream about doing this route.
I think Yuji can do it. He looks fit this year.
Hopefully, but it's good like with this team, you know, good energy alone, and I'm psyched. すべての動きを覚えるために最初にトップロープでトライをしました。Yeah, this is the hard part. much oxygen. Tension. It's just hard, man. やっぱこう高度が高いところで全てを出していかないとこれは落とせないなっていう気持ちだった。ダニエルは自分で新しいルートを作りたかったんだけども、どうしていいのかわからないほど未熟だった。
How far do you drill into the rock?
Oh yeah, okay. Maybe from the lead line, like 3 centimeter.
Okay, this will be my first bolting experience. Never know until you try. Have a drill.
It's really cool. He has no idea what he's doing, but he still goes for it.
Which is super cool until you hear the familiar sound of the drill going backwards. Daniel pushing his hardest with the thing and spinning in reverse.
It's not going in at all.
Oh my god, ground!
Oh, that was hard. The best way for me to learn is to watch the master in action. He's teaching me how to approach a new way in climbing.
ダニエルは一生懸命やってたんだけども、少し僕は心配でした。何もこう準備はできてなかったのかなっていうね。
He had no sunglasses, no sun cream, no cap.
The sun's really intense. The eyes start to burn.
ね、日焼けの具合とか見てるとね、本当すごいなこいつはみたいな。
I haven't been able to feel my face for the last 4 days.
We've just been watching slowly the decline of Daniel Woods.
Need a rest. Rest is key.
He comes back to the hut, just destroyed like a broken man. Every morning he wakes up and somehow finds the motivation to go back out climbing and does it all again.
Getting psyched. It was really hard at first, and then after about a week, you just get into warrior mode.
ダニエルはなんかさっき旅のための準備を彼は怠っていると、そういうところもあったんだけど、何に集中してるかっていうと、もう登ることにものすごい集中してると思うんだよね。
I feel dirty and greasy, and I smell bad, and my face hurts, but I'm gonna go climb again, and that's the only thing that matters.
Everything. この数日間ダニエルは自分のルートをトライしてたんだけども、もしかしたら僕自身がやってるルートよりも難しいのかもしれない。岩へのアタックの仕方が素晴らしい。周りが見えないぐらいに集中してた。
Destroyed? Feel pretty tired. But still can have another effort.
若かった頃の熱心さを思い出した。自分の年で家族を持つとなかなか集中できない。だけどこのプロジェクトをやり遂げるためには全てを出し切らないといけないということをダニエルが教えてくれた。壁を見た時よくここまで来れたなと思った。人生の中でこんなに難しいルートをできる機会はもう最後かもしれない。 登れるチャンスが来ないかもしれないと思ってて、だから登った時っていうのはゼーハーゼーハーしてやっとできたっていうかね。
You did it, Yuji.
Thanks, man.
Good job.
Hey! Thanks, man! Woohoo! It's one of the best climbing in my life. Yeah. Ah, so good, so good. Incredible. Incredible.
このルートで全てを出し切った。こんなに努力してクライミングすることをダニエルが思い出させてくれた。ダニエルが自分のプロジェクトを登り切ったら今回の旅は終わります。
Come on, Daniel!
This route was a whole new realm for me. Climbing 515A difficulty at over 13,000 feet, it's difficult to breathe. I saw the mist kind of coming in from behind and I was like, okay, I have a short period of time to get to the top before the mist just soaks everything, so this is my do or die attempt.
Come on, Daniel!
Beautiful.
I think the scariest part was the upper slab.
急にこう最後のスラブ、終了点間際のスラブになったら助けてくれ的な感じなんだよね。
Slab climbing is not my specialty. I go into freak out, panic mode. But I just remembered Yuji saying, Daniel-san, wait for the right moment.
Okay, Yuji.
When the mist cleared, I took a deep breath, trusted my feet, and finished the climb.
We all hear the music, you take it all the way through. You got that wild style, you got that wild style, you got that wild style for miles and miles.
ティニピーの登りを見たときにかなりこう磨かれ始めてるという印象でしたね。
It was the best feeling I've experienced so far, and honestly, I couldn't have done it without the sensei.
You got that wild
In the UK, there's a very, very strong tradition of routes which are dangerous and bold.
Trad climbing or danger climbing.
Danger is an important part of the recipe.
The experience is heightened because the consequences are pretty savage.
There's a very strong ethic of traditional climbing in Britain.
You know, doing things in good style, like on gear from the ground.
And the gear placements are a bit shit.
The terrible gear and wiggling in small wires.
You have to be a bit of a wizard when you're placing gear.
Come on, for fuck's sake!
If there are bolts, they're miles apart.
Big run-outs.
It is rather macho.
Putting up the raddest, most dangerous routes.
If you fall off, you're going to hurt yourself.
British trad climbing isn't for the faint-hearted.
You can get really scared and be in a very dangerous situation.
It's how you cope with feeling scared.
The British tradition is just to climb everything in any style, so the wet rock, the loose rock.
Ridiculously loose.
Even though some of it's not technically rock.
450 feet of rubble.
But they just climb it anyway.
You don't forget those routes.
It's just a weird scene.
It's having an experience.
I will say though, it certainly toughens you up.
Part of the British character, I guess.
The elements of fear. Control of your fear.
You've got to be able to hold your head together.
If you're a long way above gear, you can't afford to blow it.
You need to have balls.
So we have all these guys trying to prove who's the biggest and bravest of them all. Then along comes Hazel.
All I know about Hazel is she's about that big.
This cute little blonde girl.
She doesn't look like a climber, does she?
Very few women climb hard, scary trad routes.
It's an evolutionary thing. Men have to take crazy risks in order to attract a mate. Women don't. But Hazel does anyway. I don't know why.
The danger itself is interesting. You're not sure whether you're going to fall, you're not sure about the gear. You're like, am I risking my life now?
Whoa. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just working that out in your head is like a big part of bold climbing, and it's something I really enjoy.
This thing might explode if I fall.
I'm not happy just doing easy things. I'm not happy just bumbling around the crags. It gets quite boring.
So scary.
The thing about Hazel is that she's really good at staying focused when things get a bit spicy.
I don't really think I'm like massively bold or anything. I analyse everything that's going on and then work out whether I'm going to go for it or not. Scary.
This is just the start, man. Like, she's really good.
I've just never seen another woman climb as well as Hazel on scary terrain.
I think a lot of women just think like these things are just too scary for them or something. They just don't think that they're brave enough, so they never even try. We live in a society where women aren't supposed to be brave. It's always baffled me why there aren't more bold female climbers, because it seems like given our biology, we'll never be as strong as men. You only have to look at sprinters and marathon runners to see that. But there's no reason why we can't be as bold as men, why we can't be as mentally strong as men.
Let's hope these top poles don't snap. Everything went well. 10 minutes of intense fun. No decking.
no impacting.
Hazel's got a very cool, calm head. I think she definitely gets that from her dad.
I started climbing with my dad probably as young as 6. My dad basically lived for climbing, and he's still living the dirtbag lifestyle really, which is pretty funny.
I mean, he's totally hardcore, and he's a proper adventure climber, like the master of climbing on leash rock. He's done loads of first ascents, and he's a real traditionalist, you know. And I think Hazel's really grown up with that sort of mentality.
As a very small girl, she was a little fat-faced thing. She was really round. She's going to hate me for saying this. Yeah, we call her Hammy because her cheeks are so fat that you could see her smiling from behind. So we called her Hammy the hamster. At the ages of 9, 10, I taught her how to put gear in. And then for her 11th birthday, myself and a couple of friends over in Pembroke gave her a new route and said, there you go, that line's never been climbed. It's yours if you want it. She led this route and she called it Hammy the hamster.
He's definitely instilled a sense of adventure in me. He'd always take us to wild, chossy sea cliffs. He thought, you know, that it was great to put yourselves in mentally challenging positions.
I don't think I've taught my daughter to do something dangerous. I see it as when Hammy was younger, I made her an offer. Here's climbing, you take it or leave it. And she's taken it, and she's taken it to quite amazing lengths. The slab itself is pretty solid, isn't it? But the top's got several layers of crumbly, breaky stuff.
Yeah, but then there's also just like the crumbly handholds and footholds.
Yeah. This route that Hammy's involved with at the moment, once upon a time in the southwest, it's a really impressive piece of rock.
One of the hardest and scariest trad climbs in Britain.
It just looks completely blank and completely impossible.
UKE9 means trad route that's relatively hard and really, really scary.
No woman's ever climbed an E9.
They're on a downtown road, going up from bar to bar. Nobody can get through to them. Yeah, time is a long lost friend in love. I'm losing my steam with the lovers and the drinkers and the 4 a.m. you'll find me.
The coastline around this area is like really rugged, rocky, with crashing waves, and it's quite wild really. When the tide's coming in and you've got big seas, it's just this pounding sound all the time. And then there's like this real rumble as the sea comes out again. The wall has a real atmosphere because of that. Like just being down there on the beach, your heart's pounding a little bit. You start the route up this sort of chossy pillar. And then you move on to the face. And you've got this really thin climbing, which is protected by pegs. The pegs are really rusty now. You can just like flake off bits of rust with your fingers, and I've had like quite a few pegs snap on me. So you back up the pegs with sliders. It's not that good, this one. You just think, oh no, it's best to just not fall. It's very crimpy, very technical, balancy. The first half of the route you get loads of gear, but it's all just a bit shit really. Sometimes you put one in and you just chuckle to yourself a little bit because you're like, that's just hilariously shit. Why are you even bothering? But then you think, you know, the last one was a little bit shit as well, so hopefully something will hold. It's pretty disconcerting when, you know, what you think is actually quite a good placement's just fallen out, and then you think, oh no, what about all the other ones?
Okay, really watch me on yellow.
At half height, you have to run it out for a little bit. And that feels kind of cool because you're not hindered by placing loads of shit gear all the time. My dad was beeling at the bottom and the tide was coming in, and I'd like glanced down and the water's lapping at his feet.
I was standing at the base of the wall with one eye on Hammy up there and one eye on the tide coming in.
Hey, loose top out.
Right at the top there's a dusty, broken band.
The rock's a bit weird. If you really crimp, it can just snap off. Ooh. Look. Oh, scary.
There's a puff of dust and stones and I thought, no, she's broken a hold.
Okay.
But it was okay. And so yeah, she pulled over the top. It was a real treat to hold my daughter's rope on first female ascent of an E9. That was a classy day out.
Yes.
A few years ago, I don't think anybody would have put money on a small blonde lass climbing E9 on the sea cliffs. No, I wouldn't have put money on it.
I think it's great what she's done, and yeah, she's without doubt our best British woman climber at the moment. You know, you'd be a fool to say any otherwise, really.
Hammy's amassed a lot of pretty amazing skills so far for a 24-year-old, but she's hungry to learn.
I've always wanted to do more than just climb in the UK. I want to use what I've learned in the UK and climb bigger stuff. So yeah, I'm going to leave soon and go to Morocco. There's some big cliffs there with some big routes on them. I'm meeting up with my friend Emily and we're going to try this route with a bit of a reputation. It's called Babel. It's meant to be like this super adventurous, scary, run-out route. It's like 18 pitches, I think. We're going to try and do it in a day, which is going to be a bit of a tall order. And yeah, I think we're going to go and get quite scared. Emily's a sport climber. She's really strong, she's really fit, but she maybe hasn't had to deal with that much bold climbing before. It's going to be interesting for sure.
Hazel's one of the best female trad climbers ever. She's one of the only girls out there who's doing big, bold, scary trad routes. She's done a lot of things that I can't even comprehend doing at this point in my climbing, and so I have a lot to learn from her.
It took us like 2 whole days to get from Marrakesh to Tagia,
which is this really remote farming village in the Atlas Mountains.
This sort of green gem amongst the big orange walls. So there's our route M on the right-hand side. So it just skirts to the left of the big roof. Yeah. I'm definitely a little bit apprehensive. It's almost the height of El Cap, basically.
18 pitches of really hard 512 slab climbing, really run out.
I've never even climbed a wall like a third of that length.
Never told me that before. What's the longest route you've done?
I don't know, like 6 pitches. I'm really nervous. Just gonna put that out there. I'm super nervous. I'm gonna bring a lot of caffeine.
These ones are caffeine?
Yep.
Considering how difficult the climbing's going to be, the main aim is just going to be to get to the top.
Yeah.
Even if it means we're going to be climbing at 2 in the morning, we have to get to the top. We've done all-nighters before.
Yeah. I haven't climbing, but I've done plenty of other things all night.
My dad instilled the idea of ground-up rock climbing. You start at the bottom of something and you go to the top. It's walking into the unknown. 12C slab warm-up in the dark. Get psyched. I got to the base of the first pitch and it's really difficult to see the footholds and handholds on rock with no chalk in like the pitch black.
Nice job, Hazel.
Fucking hell. I fell on the first pitch. I hit a ledge or something, flipped upside down. Fucking hell.
Are you okay?
Yeah. But, you know, it didn't make me downhearted. Like, cool, so this is going to be a challenge, this is going to be hard. This is what I asked for, you know, I didn't come to Morocco to climb an easy route. I came to Morocco to climb a hard one.
Nice job, Hazel.
Well, at least it's light now, Em.
Yes, you can see. Hazel is a badass. Just watching her stay so calm when she was facing a 60-foot fall was pretty amazing. She's definitely in her element. She reads rock really well. She's not afraid. She knows a lot in terms of rope systems and all that stuff that it takes to be a really good big wall climber.
Save them!
I'm sort of learning from her how to be efficient on the wall and how to not let my fear take over.
Emily is such an amazing climber. You know, she's used to climbing steep sport routes.
This is where it might get hard.
And here, we're in the middle of nowhere, 600 meters up a big wall, dealing with runouts constantly, route finding, standing on tiny edges and dancing our way up slabs. But she's so determined. She tries so hard and she has a good head. She really wants to step out of what's the norm for her, and I admire her for that.
Safe, Hazel!
The whole way up, you're looking at your watch and you're thinking, how many more hours of light have we got left? Oh my God, I'm tired. Pain everywhere. Fingers, hands, feet. None of the pitches are obvious. They're all a little bit bold or weird or loose. Oh dear, these holes are breaking. It's fucking shit. The whole thing just exploded in my face. And then it happened again.
After the second time she broke the flake, I thought that she was gonna give up.
Okay, let me just go up and have a look. Now go from that ledge.
And she just kept trying.
And then it exploded a third time.
And she still didn't give up.
Finally, I was left with something solid to pull on. I could feel it flexing.
We got more and more tired. I was trying to not let it get to me mentally, but it definitely did. I was pretty crushed. I just kind of had this realization like, oh my God, I have so far to go still.
We have 5 pitches left. So we have a few more hours of climbing, and now it's dark.
We were like hallucinating with fatigue.
We could try to go fast. It's so hard to go fast when you're cold, though. I know, it's really cold.
But we held it together.
We should just keep going. Maybe we should listen to a song. Do you want to listen to a song? We could do some warm-up dancing.
Let's look into the crystal ball and see the future for us all. The question is, do you believe the fortune teller said?
Okay, I'm warm. Yeah, me too.
I'm proud of what we accomplished. I'm proud that we stuck to our guns and went to the top.
I'm at the top, Em!
Oh, good job! That's maybe one of the biggest days of rock climbing I've ever had.
Biggest day of rock climbing, for sure.
I'm ready for a pint.
These are the dreams come
I think Hammy could go a long way yet in climbing and mountaineering. She's found a path in life now. I think she's really lucky, as a lot of people in life don't find that path, that love, that passion.
My idea of a good climber is someone who can choose any rock formation in the world or any mountain in the world or whatever and say that they can get up it. And I just want to like have the skills to be able to do that.
Mount Everest, the world's highest summit.
Rule of the world.
Uli Steck, a top-level alpinist with a dream. But when ambitions collide on a crowded mountain, it's a recipe for high tension.
Where big egos meet thin air.
At 36 years old, the climber known as the Swiss Machine is in his prime.
Climbing is my life. It's hard and it's dangerous, but it's really simple. You have this mountain and you just want to go up there.
I've climbed with Uli for a few years now, and as a climber, I'd never seen anything like it before. He moves so fluidly.
In the fall of 2012, I started working on a profile of Uli Steck. It was just going to be a profile of an amazing climber. It was was like watching Roger Federer play tennis or Baryshnikov dance. A 4,000-foot fall right below him, and he's still performing a very technical and highly concentrated act. It just blows me away.
Steck has recently set his sights on the high altitudes of the Himalaya.
For me, the high altitude mountains was the next step. If you go to the Himalaya, these mountains are just massive, they're huge. 8,000 meter peak, that's where you really can push the limits. Up there, it's a thin air, there's no much oxygen. That's the big challenge.
Having climbed a number of the world's tallest mountains without supplemental oxygen,
He's going up.
Steck's now zeroing in on the highest of them all, Mount Everest.
It's a massive, beautiful pyramid. Last year, I climbed Everest without oxygen.
Congratulations, Uli. No oxygen summit, Mount Everest.
But this was merely a test run for a far more audacious goal.
This trip is definitely going big. Trying something which has never been done, staying so long time in the altitude. Climb Everest, keep going, and go up to Lhotse. First, I want to climb the West Ridge route on Everest, which has never been done without oxygen. You have to traverse into the north face, climbing above 8,000 meters to the top of Everest. Actually, you could say you have done already a really great climb, but no, you still have to keep going up to the pyramid of Lhotse.
This Everest Lhotse traverse, I mean, this would be a real topper. The amount of time spent above altitude without oxygen would be pretty much unprecedented. That's almost impossible.
For me, I'm pretty sure it is possible, but you never know. So this is what makes the challenge.
Now the next step is just to see how far he can push himself to such a high elevation. And from a photographer's point of view, this is one of the most cutting edge things that could ever be kind of filmed and photographed ever in the Himalayas, and I just jumped at the chance.
I'm just on this peak where I have a lot of potential to climb on these high altitude mountains, and this is a small window in your life you can do that. And I just should take advantage of that now.
This is one of the top alpinists in the world. And this Everest climb is possibly the crowning achievement for Uli Steck.
For this big climb, I needed a good partner. And I found my friend Simone Moro. He's also a good climber on the big mountains.
I did around 50 climbing expeditions just in Nepal.
Simone has done so many winter ascents on 8,000 meter peaks. He's a legend. It's just like, the man likes to suffer basically, but he suffers with a smile on his face.
Up there and there.
Simone's been around Everest for a long time. He has a helicopter, he performs rescues.
He's basically a bit of an Everest fixture in a way.
Simone is coming here from 21 years old. So he know all Nepali and he know little Nepali language also.
Uli and Simone, they're a strong team, but I guess sometimes you say opposites attract.
Yeah, of course, Simone and me, we are different characters.
Uli's super quiet and Simone just cannot stop talking.
You know why sports is difficult? Everybody, when they want to describe me, they do and this is me. I live in Bergamo, Italy. The people of Bergamo are well known to be hard workers, and we are quite rude, they said. We move the hands when we talk.
In Italy, people just go out and yell on each other, and that's just normal, you know.
Go back. Sometimes
What really brings Simone and Uli together is just this huge psyche for this project. They share this vision.
climbing together with Uli will be the perfect way how to realize this dream.
Having assembled the team, Steck and Moro get their first view of the legendary mountain.
go up a hill and you turn a corner and suddenly for the first time you see Everest, and it's fucking miles away. But mainly it's just huge, billowing clouds off the top. It's super windy. And you're just thinking, oh God, that looks horrible.
Coming into Everest Base Camp is like coming into a big city.
60 years ago, Everest was this little area at the corner of the Khumbu Glacier. Now when you go there, base camp stretches around the Khumbu Glacier and goes downhill for a mile. Easily 1,000 people living there.
Everest Base Camp is this launching pad for all things Everest. You have this mix of experienced, serious climbers and commercial expeditions with guides and Sherpa, and clientele that range in all abilities that you could possibly imagine. I think the best way I've heard it described is, it's kind of like a circus.
At Everest Base Camp, you have everything. You have internet,
satellite dishes,
mobile,
propane, salmon steaks, helipad, generators.
There was a two-story dome tent that had a bar in it. Basically, a rave was taking place at 17,600 feet.
Even if we all say it's a bit of a circus, Everest is Everest. You can't escape the fact that people want to be on top of the world.
It's a beautiful, high mountain, and it's the closest to heaven. They all want to go to the highest. Get as high as you can before you step off into space.
You have hundreds of people going there every year to climb, spending tens of thousands of dollars each, millions of dollars flowing through the place.
The commercial industry on Everest, it just exploded in the 90s and has had steady forward momentum since then.
The backbone of all Everest expeditions are the Sherpas. They do the heavy lifting for almost everybody that climbs the mountain.
Sherpa is our ethnic group in Nepal. Was strongly involved from the beginning of the mountaineering history in the Himalaya.
Teams of Sherpas just moving massive amounts of material up the mountain. So commercial groups can have tents set, sleeping bags there, oxygen canisters stacked like cordwood at the call.
You look tired. Yeah. Sherpa mountain guides also undertake the difficult and dangerous task of fixing ropes along the southeast ridge of Mount Everest.
Ropes are carried up by the Sherpa and fixed to the mountain.
They fix about 12 miles of that stuff from base camp all the way to the top. So with this fixed rope system, now you can deliver a climber to the summit, usually safely, with total consistency.
You've got people nose to ass, this herd going up the mountain.
Many of the clients who strap on oxygen masks and clip into the lines have little experience climbing mountains.
I watched people being instructed on how to rock climb on the second step at 28,000 feet. And everyone's waiting behind them going, seriously, you're learning how to climb 5'6" right now?
Siempre el peso en el chuma. Siempre. Okay. Over 500 people reached the summit of Mount Everest last year. We're here to do a job, and that's a commercial season on Mount Everest. We feel we're pretty good at it.
It seems crazy, but it's allowing people to come and experience this mountain in a way that they never otherwise maybe would be able to.
I'm really happy to see all these people here trying to climb Everest, but that's completely different to what me, Simone, and Jonathan doing. Going to the West Ridge is like you're just leaving the highway.
When we talk about our style, it is two person, myself and Uli, no oxygen, no Sherpa, and no fixed rope.
You know, what is the problem on Everest? This is the lack of oxygen.
If you want to go in the summit of Everest without a mask on your nose, you have to be prepared and adapted.
You have to get acclimatized, like real acclimatized.
So the way you do that is you stay at base camp for a couple of days and you might walk up to camp 1, come back down again and rest for a day, and then you go a little bit higher.
Exposing your body higher and higher and higher.
And when you're strong and acclimatized, then you go for the push basically.
It's just always a race. Be ready for the good weather window. So this means take every chance to progress every single day.
I know Yuli's a really strong guy from climbing with him for years, but this year was something different. He took the whole winter off just to train. He was so focused on this Everest climb, and he knew it was going to take every ounce of him to pull it off, and he just trained like an absolute machine. Yeah, I've never seen him this strong before. I've never seen anyone this strong before. One day he goes up to 7,400 meters on the West Ridge by himself.
Where do you go?
End of the couloir. See the other side.
The other side? I think I stop here.
Never heard of anyone going up to such high altitudes so quickly.
Going to West Shoulder, I wanted to really see the conditions, and I was really curious to see the backside. So I look around. Conditions were great. It was climbable. So yeah, we can make it.
The things were going particularly well. Uli was feeling that it was the right season, the right team, the right time. I come to that night. We had probably the best evening and night we could have.
Where am I going Yes, yes.
There was also Melissa in our tent.
Melissa is a mountain guide, summited 4-time Everest.
She was on her own mission to try Everest without oxygen.
For me, working as a guide on Everest, to see those climbers, it's an incredibly ambitious thing that they were trying to do. I definitely found myself like super inspired by, their goals.
The day after, the night, Uli, John and myself continue our acclimatization.
Woo! Before starting their climb on the West Ridge, they planned to further acclimatize on the easier slopes of the Lhotse Face, a section of the Everest trade route. But a team of Sherpas had already started up the Lhotse Face that morning, fixing ropes for the guided expeditions.
So as the Sherpas start to fix the route, there's a lot of anxiety in camp. I mean, there's a lot of Western climbers who are there for the first time.
There's a lot of pressure. If you're a guide, you've got pressure to get paying clients to the summit. As a Sherpa, there's a tremendous amount of pressure to perform well, to get the lines fixed.
The expedition leaders wanted that route in, get it done, come down and let us go on with our season.
The fixing team is scheduled to work on the Lhotse Face, and during that time we've all agreed to keep our climbers off the route. We don't want to interfere with their work. And unfortunately, Uli, Jonathan, and Simone, they were unaware of our policy regarding climbing on the route while the fixing team is at work.
When we arrived at the base of the Lhotse Face, we start climbing like 50, 60 meters to the left of the Sherpas without the rope.
We zigzag our way up the snow and we're taking videos and photos. And I'm psyched.
Right, when you're ready.
Getting footage.
Okay.
And we get higher up to the point where we need to traverse across to where the next camp is.
And going to our tents, we had to meet those Sherpa. The Sherpa, they saw us, what are you doing here? Go back. And we said, don't worry, we don't disturb you.
And the moment I arrived to the fixed line, the lead Sherpa started to rappel. He was just yelling.
He comes whizzing straight down his fixed line, and Yuli at this point is just at the belay having stepped over the line and puts his hands up.
I just
tried to grab him to avoid to fall.
And I touched him here, and immediately he said, "Why are you touching me?" And I told him, hey, I didn't want to fall down here.
When Steck and the lead fixer collided, the Sherpas claimed Steck was the aggressor and that ice was knocked down on them, which the climbers denied. But there's no dispute about what happened next.
In this moment, Simone came across. You know how Simone is, he's Italian, and he was not like me, just talking quietly.
When someone is waving ice axe at my climbing partner, you have two choices. Or you give flowers if you are Gandhi, or if you are a normal person, the only things you can do is to scream yourself, okay? And this is what I did. I scream in Nepali and English because the words I said is "Ma chikne, what are you doing?" It means "motherfuckers, what are you doing?"
Simone called him a motherfucker in Nepalese.
Hey motherfucker, what are you doing?
And unfortunately, it was not just said on the face. All of base camp heard it because the radio button was stuck.
In Nepali, he had to take a word that is very bad. Yes.
What was the word?
I don't know, but I cannot say in your camera. That is very bad.
You know, this is one of the very bad words.
When somebody just walks up to you and say motherfucker to you, and this is obvious reason to get pissed off.
And that made Sherpa, all the Sherpa very angry.
All of a sudden, the communication on the radio just exploded. I was down at camp too with my friend Greg, who is the expedition manager for IMG.
First thing I did to calm the situation down was to have the fixing team come down.
And I was like, whoa, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If they stop fixing now, all the commercials expedition will be pissed about us.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly pleased.
Hey, Simone, sounds like a few things occurred up there.
Just said the bad words. Why I was angry, why they were pissed off. Now we come down and talk.
So it's better go down and discuss that in Camp 2.
And that's, well, when the troubles started at Camp 2. Greg comes in and, you know, he sits down.
He said, oh, the Sherpas are really pissed, you know.
Energy levels were high.
And then Melissa burst in and said,
a huge group of angry Sherpas are coming up here right now. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I think you should get the fuck out of here.
And as soon as we get out the tent, there were like a big crowd coming towards us. Everybody had a rock in their hand.
And it was like, oh, fuck.
And from that moment started the fight.
Simone, John, Uli on the ground being kicked.
Coming from the voice of the shepherd, we killed them, we killed them.
Rocks were flying, it was fast and it was aggressive.
And I got hit by a rock.
Laying on the ground, bleeding from the head, saying, what's happening?
I've never ever felt that fear before in my life. They were gonna get beaten to death.
Somebody could have gotten really hurt. I was standing right in the middle of it. I lost the ability to calm down the Sherpas who work for us.
There are some people who were taking photos, but Melissa had no fear to physically protect us.
Culturally, I think if they hurt a woman, it would be really, really bad.
Melissa quickly bundled Yuli into the mess tent, which was just to the side.
And I was begging them, please stop, no violence.
She saved my life for sure.
They demanded that Simone apologize.
The guys really wanted to talk to Simone and get an apology. And I don't think they were going about it the right way.
Sorry. Bend your knee, come on. I'm sorry for
I already told you before.
Yeah, yes.
It's kind of word you can.
Please, no violence. Listen.
Very sorry.
Yes,
you said that.
No good. No good. Please, no violence.
Apologize.
Yes.
All the words that came out from my mouth was wrong. I'm sorry. You know my children. Yes. You know my children.
Please, no violence.
Things I never thought I would ever see in my whole entire life were happening in front of me. The Sherpa, in my interactions with them, they're not confrontational, they don't like conflict. To see doing this is incredibly shocking.
But in the meanwhile, you know, what was actually happening is that Yuli was stuck in the mess tent, surrounded by all the Sherpas. And they were demanding for him to come out.
I'm in that tent, they're yelling, kill that guy. I was on my knees in that tent, bleeding. There was a rock thrown into the tent. This is crazy. There was no way out for me. And this is, I think, what gives me now a hard time. Just be trapped for like 45 minutes and feel like there is no way out. I was like thinking, like, this is so stupid, you know. I climbed so many cool mountains without the rope and everything. And now I'm here on Everest, and I'm so stupid to climb Everest. Now there's a mob of people just try to kill me in Camp 2, and they will. I'm really used to dealing with like dangerous situations, you know. If you're in the mountains, if you climb without the rope, sometimes you get like, okay, now it has to work the right direction, otherwise you're gonna die. But you can handle this. But people are different in the tent. You're sitting in there. And this is just really, really strange situation.
Finally, they left and said, if you are not gone in an hour, we come back and kill all of you.
And no more climbing, no more West Ridge.
Yuli said to me in a really subdued voice, like, I think this expedition's over.
By the time the climbers had descended from Camp 2 to base camp, news of the incident had already exploded.
Dozens of people risk their lives every year trying to climb Mount Everest. This morning, some of them say they nearly died in a brawl.
There's no covering mountaineering until something that goes wrong on Everest, and then the whole world takes notice.
This all unfolded near the summit at an altitude of roughly 22,000 feet.
A lot of them said the European climbers got what they deserved. The front page had Swiss press, Steck's ego trip, the cause of all this violence.
Was ist am Mount Everest tatsächlich geschehen? Uli Steck und seine Begleiter mit Faustschlägen traktiert haben.
When I learned that an independent party and the Sherpas had tangled assholes up there, I thought, well, I frankly would fault a little bit independent climbers.
It's an absolute disrespect for people who are working really hard.
You know, this is one route on Everest. This is the standard route. It's a very commercial route. It's not a route for alpinists.
I mean, where did you think you were? We've been doing things a certain way here for a long, long time now.
I think that probably if you want to do cutting edge stuff out of the south side of base camp, you've got to play by the commercial rules.
I don't agree, I guess. I don't think there should be rules about who can explore mountains.
Does this mean that Everest is only a guided mountain in the spring season? Is that where this is going?
They don't want real alpinists because that's not the big business.
Their decision to climb that day, you can argue about that one all day. But in the atmosphere that Everest has become, dominated by the commercial outfitters, it was just the wrong place to be on the wrong day.
Still others point to deeper problems that stretch back to the early days of Western expeditions.
In 1953, my father, Tenzing Norgay, became the first man to climb Everest with Edmund Hillary. And during the expedition, the Westerners were put up in the British Embassy in Kathmandu, while my father and his group of Sherpas were put lower down in a garage or some not so pleasant place to sleep in. The Sherpas went about their business, but they expected to be treated better. The inequity, that hasn't changed much in the past 60 years.
Today, the multi-million-dollar climbing industry has been an economic boon to the local people. But it's also taken a toll. The rush to put inexperienced climbers on the summit has led to numerous deaths.
Every year, Sherpas are dying on Everest, working to support these commercial expeditions.
Being a climbing Sherpa is more dangerous than being an infantryman in Iraq, more dangerous than being an Alaska bush pilot.
The inequity is not just in the risk that the Sherpas are carrying, but it's in the pay.
You know, their Western counterparts are making a hell of a lot bigger paycheck than they are. And so I think that breeds animosity and anger.
During an interview with Outside Magazine, one of the fixing team members, Tashi Sherpa, said this.
The resentment was always there. But an incident like this didn't occur before because Sherpas didn't take offense on minor issues. But this time around it was different. This is our life, our livelihood. Now we have become more confident, more educated. We are the ones who, despite the risks and hazards, make sure all is well on Everest. This incident was waiting to happen, and it will repeat as long as Sherpas are humiliated.
There is, amongst young Sherpas, sort of the shift. They're kind of standing up a little bit more for themselves.
There was already these crazy tensions, and suddenly these guys walked into the fray, and all that anger, group of 100 Sherpa up there.
The straw that broke the camel's back. This is the one that made it blow.
But many in the Sherpa community worry about the reputation of a peaceful, hardworking people.
The elder Sherpa in base camp, they say, oh my God, we're fucked as a culture, as a people, because now the whole world is gonna think that we're savages, that we have no respect, no intelligence.
I can tell you many of my Sherpa friends lose sleep over this.
All we wanted to do was to get out of there, and not just base camp, but Nepal. We needed to get home. It was a horrible experience.
Expedition was over and I wanted to leave.
But the worst thing you can do is just get out of there. So we felt it was really important to stay behind, try and understand what happened.
I asked him to help me, and I will help him.
Exactly what happened in Camp 2 and 3.
In the days following the fight, Sherpas, guides, and the 3 climbers sat down to hash out what had gone wrong and how to move forward.
I had so good relationship with Sherpa, and now what happened in Camp 2, this make me feel very, very, very bad, and I need a long time to digest that, what happened up there.
We stuck around, we did endless meetings with all sorts of people.
And I think this is something we have to figure out how we deal together.
These are young boys, and I didn't know that was there until I saw it.
As the expedition leader, it's heartbreaking for me, and if this was an outcome of my leadership, then I need to adjust some things.
And we can learn from this.
Now, after discussing with a lot of people, we decided that the worst thing to do is throw these guys in jail. It doesn't help anything at all. They're young kids, throw them in jail, that's their lives over.
And I'm sure that we are talking about few bad apples, if bad they are.
So we left it within the hands of the base camp community to deal with it. And for us, that meant, well, at the very least, you pull them off the mountain.
So did you end up firing the Sherpas who worked for you? What'd you do?
We decided to take what we thought was an appropriate course of action. Ultimately, the Sherpas involved ended up essentially being demoted to a load-carrying role. I think if we had overreacted, for example, just firing them all, we probably would have had a lot of the other Sherpas quitting.
We felt that if we fired them on the spot after this, there may be even more dissension.
It was a way to patch this thing up so that the scandal would just kind of go away enough so that they could do their jobs on the mountain and continue with the climbing season.
We needed to move forward and refocus and get the job done.
Basically, Uli had to leave for there to be peace among the rest of the people on the mountain. I mean, he's the only person who didn't get to carry on.
With the chaotic events now fading from the headlines, the Everest Summit Factory kept chugging along.
Everest, the show goes on, you know? Like, absolutely nothing happened.
The Sherpas went back up and fixed the lines along the southeast ridge, making passage for clients to reach the summit.
It was a very successful season. We had hundreds upon hundreds of amateur climbers that lived their dream. We had the oldest man summit. We had the first women from Pakistan, from Lithuania.
But just like every year, the glory of the summit was tempered by loss. 9 people died on Everest in the spring of 2013, including 4 Sherpas. Meanwhile, Simone Moro stayed on for the season, performing helicopter rescues on the mountain and saving a number of lives.
I want to fly in Himalaya. Nepal is really my second home.
A few days later, Simone was picking up a dead Sherpa on the Lhotse face.
When I went to perform a rescue, and one of the person who jumped on the helicopter was some of the guys who were beating us a few days before. So for me, it was the perfect way how to close the circle.
The greatest tragedy of this incident would be to pin the personalities of individuals on an entire culture and a population of people.
After summiting for the 5th time, a record for Western women, Melissa Arnott is trying to address some of the tensions on Mount Everest. Her nonprofit supports the families of Sherpas who've been killed or injured while working on the mountain.
As Western climbers that are part of our industry, the best things that we can do is to make a commitment to responsibly interact with the communities.
I'd been writing a story of an accomplished climber moving on to another accomplishment, but this dream of his had fallen to pieces. This became a story about an accomplished climber confronting failure, confronting the destruction of things he'd worked so hard to build, his reputation, his record in the mountains.
When I came back home, I was really sad for some time. I'm really upset about what happened on the mountain. For me, for Sherpas, for the whole scene on Everest.
I'd speak to him every day, and he really struggled for a long time. I really worried about him.
And after a while, Jonathan is like, "What are you doing?"
It's really hard to deal with what's happened, and this will haunt us. But, this is life and you get on with it.
You have to get your crampons. If you're an alpinist, you have to go climbing. I think what I really like the most, you start climbing on this hard snow, legs pushing, arms pulling, and you're just moving, and it's nothing else. Nothing is disturbing you. Mountains are really, they're just honest, They're so clear boundaries, and you can move in these boundaries. And this I really like. It's a simple way of living, being in the mountains. This trip to Everest was really hard, but I keep climbing. I think me without climbing, I would not be a happy person. This is what I do.
And would my mother forgive me if she'd seen things I done? Well, I had to do something, I was too scared to run. There's no better distraction than a fog up your brain, 'cause the smoke blurs your vision and it helps numb the pain.